during a time when I was working in a nightclub with dancers in a nightclub and men coming in the nightclub. I was working as an attendant, and they would come in. I would see them come in. Some of them, they would remove their wedding rings in the restroom, and I'd help them wash their hands. They would go into the restroom stall, and you would hear them sometimes, sniffing whatever. Coming out, they're ready to go. They've gassed up the tank, right? And they're ready to escape into this nightlife reality, even during the daytime. Because it was almost like a simulation. The nightclubs would simulate darkness and nighttime, even during the afternoon, even during the day. And you really wouldn't know what time it was until you looked at your watch. The time would just kind of tick away, as you were living out your fantasy, as they were living out their fantasies. So I would just kind of be there, and I would see all kinds of types and characters come in and out. And I remember this one guy came in, and he wasn't the typical guy, but I kind of was reading him. I was reading the room a little bit, and I asked him, "Hey, is there anything else you need? You need any cologne, any mints, any candy, any gum, any cigarettes, anything? What do you need anything?" He was like, "Nah, man, probably just some Tums, man." I was like, "Oh, antacids. Yeah, we have some over there. We had some Tum tablets for the indigestion, for the upset stomach." And he went and he took some, and he grabbed some, and he started chewing on them. He was like, "Yeah, man, it's not feeling too good today." And I was like, "Hey, man, I hope it feels better." I didn't even think anything of it. I just sincerely, I was like, "Hey, man, I hope you feel better." And it was like he was shocked. The last thing that he expected me to say was that, "I hope soon that you're feeling okay. I hope you feel a little better today." It was like he just expected me to just have my hand out and take the tip or take the money. Or he didn't expect kindness. He didn't expect any generosity, any concern. He didn't expect anybody to be worried about his well-being. And when I said that, something shifted. His mood was somehow shifted. Something was lifted, right? And he turned toward me. This grown man turned toward me and started walking toward me and held his arms open toward me. And he said, "Hey, man, thank you, man." And he came in, and I was like, "Whoa." Like in my mind, I said, "Whoa," but I just kind of let go, and I just embraced him. And he came in for a hug, and he embraced me for a second. He was like, "Man, thank you." I said, "Hey, no problem. Yeah, it's all good." I'm patting him on the back. I'm like, "Yes, it's okay. It's all right, man. Yeah, you're good." And he's like, "Yeah, man, just thank you, man. Thank you." And he walks out the restroom. Do you know that I was shocked? I didn't know how to react. I said, "What?" It was like all he needed in that moment, all he needed was physical touch. All he needed was a hug. That's all he needed. And it reminds me of this study that I heard. There was a woman named Virginia Satir. She was like a psychologist or a family therapist. And she recommended that for survival, we should have 4 hugs a day. That for maintenance, we should have 8 hugs a day. And that for growth, we should be getting 12 hugs a day. I said, "What? 12 hugs a day for growth? What does that even mean?" I was like, "So what? Are we not growing? Because we are depriving ourselves of this physical touch, this human connection, this social interaction, this gratification and satisfaction that we can get from a hug. I remember when I was fasting and feeling the feelings that were longer lasting, and my body was going through all sorts of detox. And there was no one else around me. I remember that I felt I was going up and down, in and out, back and forth with food. Binging, purging, in a complete downward spiral, in a complete cycle, right? Trapped in a cycle, trapped in a prison of my own making, a prison of my own mind. And one time I was walking down a tunnel and I seen my numbers, 222, that's my cue. I seen those numbers on a little ticket on the street. Right after I had, put my body through something. And I remember I just hugged my body right there in this tunnel. Cars were whizzing by me. Nobody was regarding me. Nobody was really paying me any attention, but I just hugged myself. And I didn't even know that I could hug myself. I was like, I'm sorry. I apologized to my body. I was grateful for my body. I thanked my body for always having my back. I said, thank you, body. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I did the whole Ho'oponopono meditation, the whole Ho'oponopono. It's the Hawaiian affirmation, the Hawaiian meditation of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, and I love you. I did that as I hugged my own body. And there was a revelation for me to realize that everywhere I go, there I am. Everywhere you go, there you are. You are always near. You are never that far. You are only one hug away from a realization today. You don't actually have to wait for someone else to hug yourself. You can be the one to hug you for your own health, right? Your body is always there, waiting, willing. You don't have to be dying with what's killing you inside. Because if we never find that rest, if we never invest in that self-love, what are you left with? Don't be left with the rest of you. Give the best of you, right? Not what's left of you. So when I hugged myself, I realized that I could communicate with my body. I realized I could talk to my body. And somehow my body listened. Somehow my body could hear all my worries, my fears, my concerns. This is how I learned. But when that gentleman in that restroom, when I thought he was just going there for an escape, when he looked like he didn't feel too great, he changed my life with one hug. He told me, thank you. He was thanking me for something I didn't even think that I did. I didn't even know what I did. But he knew what he needed deep down. He understood. So, when in your life has there been a time that you just needed a hug? When in your life has there been a time where you just needed some physical touch? Where someone gave you a hug, you said, thank you so much, right? Where you finally felt a release, where you finally felt some relief from the problems, when you finally felt inner peace from the panic and pandemonium in your life, when you just felt someone else, that human connection. How has that been a reflection for you? And how could you give that to someone who needs that, right? This is my question. This is my question to you. So much love to you. Thank you so much for listening. Give yourself a hug today. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. Give yourself a hug and say, I love you. Pat yourself on the back and say, I love you. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't be filled with sorrow, right? Do it today. Say all is well, all is okay. I'm thankful for you, body, in every which way. You've had my back this whole entire time. Let go of the stress. Free up the mind, right? So much love. Take care.